Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into a question that has intrigued believers for centuries. Why did God give Moses 10 commandments, but Jesus later summarized them into just 2? Is there a contradiction? Did Jesus change the law? Let's explore this together and uncover the beautiful consistency in God's message. So, let's start at the beginning, with Moses on Mount Sinai. God gives him the 10 Commandments, etched into stone tablets. These are the foundational rules for living a life that is pleasing to God and harmonious with others. Let's quickly go through them. The first is, I am the Lord thy God. Thou shalt not have strange gods before me. This sets the stage for everything else. It's about recognizing the one true God. The second, thou shalt not take the name of the Lord thy God in vain, teaches us to respect and revere God's holy name. The third, remember to keep holy the Lord's day, reminds us to set aside time for rest and worship, to recenter our lives on God. Now, if you look closely at these first 3 commandments, you'll notice a common theme. They are all about our direct relationship with God. They govern how we are to think about, speak of, and worship our Creator. They are vertical commandments, pointing from us upward to God. It's about getting our relationship with Him right, first and foremost. Then, we move on to the next 7 commandments. Let's list them out. Honor thy father and mother. This is about respecting the family structure God established. Then, thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not commit adultery, and thou shalt not steal. These 3 are fundamental to a safe and just society, protecting life, marriage, and property. Next, thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor, which is about truthfulness and protecting reputations. And finally, the last 2. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife, and thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's goods. These are unique because they deal with the heart, with our inner desires, teaching us to be content and not to want what belongs to others. What do these 7 commandments have in common? They are all about how we treat other people. They are horizontal commandments, governing our interactions with our family, our friends, and our community. They're about justice, respect, and integrity in our relationships with humanity. So, we have 2 distinct categories within the 10 Commandments. The first 3 are about our relationship with God, 2, and the remaining 7 are about our relationship with our fellow human beings. Now, let's fast forward centuries later to when Jesus is walking the earth. In the Gospel of Matthew, a religious expert comes to test Jesus and asks him, "Teacher, which is the greatest commandment in the law?" This was a big debate at the time. People were trying to rank the commandments in order of importance. But Jesus' answer was profound and beautifully simple. 2 replied, "You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your mind. This is the first and greatest commandment." Stop right there. Think about what he just said. Love God with everything you've got. If you truly love God with all your heart, soul, and mind, would you ever worship another god? No. Would you misuse his name? Of course not. Would you neglect to honor him and spend time with him? Unlikely. Jesus took those first 3 commandments and distilled them down to their very essence. Love God. If you genuinely love him, obedience to those first 3 commandments will flow naturally from that love. It's not just about following rules. It's about a relationship. But Jesus didn't stop there. He continued, and the second is like it. You shall love your neighbor as yourself. This is the other half of the equation. Love your neighbor as yourself. Now, let's connect this to the last 7 commandments. If you truly love your neighbor as you love yourself, would you ever disrespect your parents? No, because you want respect. Would you harm or kill someone? Of course not. Would you betray your marriage vows or steal someone's property? Never. Would you lie about them or damage their reputation? No. Would you sit around consumed with envy, wanting their spouse or their possessions? No, because love wants the best for others. It doesn't covet what they have. So, you see what Jesus did? He didn't abolish the 10 Commandments. He didn't throw them out or say they were no longer valid. He simply revealed their core principle. He gave us the master key that unlocks the meaning behind all of them. The entire law, all 10 Commandments, and in fact, all the laws and the prophets hang on these two principles. Love God and love your neighbor. It's not a case of 10 verses 2. It's about the underlying motivation. You can follow rules out of duty or fear, but Jesus calls us to a higher standard, a standard of love. Love is the fulfillment of the law. When love is your driving force, you're not just ticking boxes or avoiding punishment. You are actively seeking to honor God and build up the people around you. So, don't be confused. Jesus wasn't introducing a new, contradictory system. He was clarifying and simplifying the heart of God's law. The 10 Commandments show us what to do and not to do. The 2 Commandments tell us why. The what is our behavior. The why is the condition of our heart. The 10 Commandments are the specific applications, and the 2 Commandments are the overarching principles. They work together perfectly. Think of it like this. The 10 Commandments are like a detailed blueprint for building a house. It tells you where the walls go, where the windows go, the specific measurements. The 2 Commandments are the foundation upon which the entire house is built. Without the foundation of loving God and loving your neighbor, the blueprint is just a piece of paper. The rules don't have a solid base to stand on. But when you have that strong foundation of love, building the house according to the blueprint makes perfect sense. So, the next time you think about the 10 Commandments, don't just see them as a list of do's and don'ts. See them through the lens of Jesus' 2 great commandments. Ask yourself, how can I show my love for God today? Maybe it's through prayer, reading scripture, or simply being thankful. Then ask, how can I show love for my neighbor today? Maybe it's by being patient in traffic, helping a co-worker, or being honest in your dealings. But by focusing on loving God and loving others, you'll find that you are, in essence, living out the spirit of all 10 Commandments. Jesus Christ simplified it not to confuse you, but to set you free to live a life motivated by love, not just by law. And that is truly good news. Thanks so much for watching. I hope this cleared things up and gave you something to think about. If you found this helpful, please give this video a thumbs up and consider subscribing for more content like this. Drop a comment below with your thoughts. We'll see you in the next one.